there will be a new champion crowned in the National Football League. We will have a new Super Bowl champ because the San Francisco 49ers went into Philadelphia and did what Green Bay fans know they could do, what Dallas fans know they could do, which is come into your house and end your season, despite it being filled with hope and desires, except for the fact in Philadelphia, from what I heard from many fans there in Philadelphia, there was no hope. There was no hope pretty much from the very beginning because they were all wondering what was going on with this offense, even on an opening night win against the Dallas Cowboys and then a week 2 win in Kansas City. There was always an undercurrent of this isn't working out. I counseled Eagles fans throughout the months of November and December to relax, to chill out, that things were going to go at least well enough that you'd make the playoffs and then you'd have a chance. And in this playoff game, the Philadelphia Eagles led throughout much of it. They led at halftime. They didn't lead after the first quarter, but pretty much quarters 2 and 3, you were winning. You had a chance at home, except for the fact that that undercurrent of the season where the defense was going to show up and show out and ball out. Could the offense pull it together well enough? Could a switch be flipped somehow? And whose fault is it? And I'll say this, with the finger of blame coming out in the month of January, as it always does.
Hit that bad boy, TJ.
As it always does for the 18 teams that don't make the playoffs and then the 6 teams that get bounced in the first weekend of the playoffs. The finger of blame in Philadelphia goes all throughout that offensive room, 100%. You could say it's the offensive coordinator. Kevin Patullo has been the scourge of the Philadelphia Eagles' offensive problems. As far as the fans go, it's been his problem coordinating. He doesn't scheme it up very well. And you could point a finger at A.J. Brown, who dropped a ton of passes yesterday. Devontae Smith had one go off his hands. Even the great Saquon Barkley on third down dropped a pass on Jalen Hurts. You could point the finger of blame at Jalen Hurts himself. And you could point it all in the fact that it all came together in one big mosh pit called the final play of the game and the final play of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles offense. 4th down. What play are you going to call? Well, first thing you're going to do is call timeout to talk about it, even though you might need all those timeouts to try and get the ball back for one last shot at a Hail Mary or setting up something, you know, like, say, what we saw Ole Miss had against Miami on Thursday night last week is a shot maybe from the 30-yard line, 35-yard line. But instead they fire off a timeout. And Eagles fans, I mean, I know that moment is when you got most nervous, not just because the season was on the line, but the 3 guys that you probably trusted the least on the offensive side of the ball were all putting their heads together. And then, you know, again, body language. That's all we're reading about the Philadelphia Eagles today and what was being said on the sideline, because it's a Philadelphia Eagles story about what's said on the sideline, which we'll get to in a second. It's Patullo talking it out with Hurts, who then looks at the coach who gives this. So, like, what do you think? Now, listen, they've made a statue of moments like this out in front of Philadelphia.
That's true.
Okay, Doug Peterson chopping it up with Nick Foles, right?
Yeah, that coach got fired.
And what came out of this was whatever the opposite of the Philly special is. And, you know, you look at all 22 folks on the socials.
That's funny. Talking
about whatever came out. It was not the most imaginative play, and then the quarterback might have thrown it in the worst possible spot right in the middle of the field, surrounded by the most 49ers. And then at the end of the day, they don't throw, at the very least, a 50-50 ball to A.J. Brown. So A.J. Brown, when he's targeted, didn't catch a lot of them, or didn't catch enough to drive people crazy. And then in the last play, they dial something up, and the quarterback doesn't throw it to A.J. Brown. And at the end of the day, it's going to wind up on the coach's lap, because that's what happens in the National Football League. It winds up on the lap of Nick Sirianni about what to do. And at the end of the day, the Eagles are done. The defense did enough against the 49ers, and then the Eagles couldn't do enough on offense to overcome whatever doldrums hit this season. And it's everywhere. You're hearing it everywhere. Jalen Hurts can't do it. Jalen Hurts won't do it. Kevin Patullo can't do it. A.J. Brown won't do it. Can't do it. The offensive line, Lane Johnson didn't play yesterday. The offensive line was totally different. They couldn't go through Saquon, so they had to do something else, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's that A.J. Brown moment on the sideline with Sirianni. That's just, again, listen, after the game, do we have that soundbite? Is that the first thing that we have queued up once again, Mike Hoskins? We all know there was a moment where A.J. Brown didn't grab a pass that did hit him in the hands. And he comes off the field and Sirianni's yelling at him. This is what Sirianni said after the game, what it was about.
Yeah, I was trying to get him off the field, because we were about to punt, and that was really it. So I love AJ. I think he knows how I feel about him. I have a special relationship with him. We've probably went through every emotion you can possibly have together. We've laughed together. We've cried together. We've yelled at each other. We're both emotional. I was trying to get him off the field, and you never want, that happens in this game. That happens in this game, but I love him.
Yeah, I know it's called the city of brotherly love, but I don't think the folks in Philadelphia care about any of the love between them right now. And again, Sirianni knows the way it works in the NFL. When you're that demonstrative on a sideline and Fox has 90 million cameras on you to the point where they once upon a time caught the wide receiver in question reading on the sidelines, that they've got it everywhere, it's going to be interpreted as something completely different. But that's just the way this guy is. That's the way he coaches. And when you win, hey, that's a Philly thing, He's just putting it on his sleeve, and he's being brash just like the city. And when you lose, it's just like, can we maybe do without the drama? Can we dial it back down a little bit? But that's the way things go in Philadelphia. That's the way it works for him, or it worked last year. This year just did not. And they're done. They're out. And I have a feeling that changes are coming on the offensive side of the ball, which means, hey, Jalen Hurts, you're about to get a new offensive coordinator for the umpteenth time in your life. He was asked about his thoughts on Kevin Patullo and how everything went this season with his new OC after the game.
Can you address how things went with Kevin Patullo in your first season together? Did you grow together? Did it get better? Did it ever stagnate?
Yeah.
And do you think it has a future?
I think I'm always growing. I'm always taking in my experiences and learning from everything that we go through. I think it's tough to single out one individual, especially in a moment like this. We all got to improve, and that's how I look at everything that we go through.
Yeah, you're not going to get anything out of Jalen Hurts. It's going to be bulletin board material, or it's something like he's pissed, this, that, the other thing, and it's going to just take a fire that's already at a 10 and put it to Spinal Tap 11. Like, that's just not going to happen. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get the answers you're looking for, Philadelphia. The answers are going to come from the head coach, who's not going anywhere, nor should he. The last time, by the way, Sirianni did a self-scout after a one and done in the playoffs. They won the Super Bowl the next year. Okay? So now in their title defense, which ain't easy, it doesn't go your way. I don't know if A.J. Brown's going to be back either. And for Hurts, in terms of a new offensive coordinator, I know that's the last thing they want to do. It's the last thing that they want to do. I've got the list here. In college at Alabama, he had Lane Kiffin and Sark in 2016, and then they left. Dayball and Loxley come in. They left. Loxley actually stayed. He got promoted. Josh Gaddis comes in 2018. Lincoln Riley was his guy in 2019 because he left and went to Oklahoma. Different guys every year, 4 years. Then he comes to the Eagles. It's Doug Peterson his first year. Shane Steichen, the only guy he had back-to-back years with as his offensive coordinator. Before Brian Johnson comes in, he gets the gate. They bring in Kellen Moore. They win the Super Bowl. He gets hired somewhere else, and here comes Patullo. And I think here comes another guy. So I know I told Eagles fans to relax, and their response to me would be, I told you so, Rich. This is why we didn't relax, because we knew this would happen in the playoffs. I'll be honest with you. Anything's happening in these playoffs. Anything's happening. You just take a look at the rest of this weekend, how anything could have happened. And the one thing that was not the same is everything else. I guess what's not the same? Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things, that's still the same, right?
Yeah.
I guess, Matthew Stafford pulling it out of his orifice at the end. The Bears doing that to the Packers again.
That's not the same. No, that's not.
Listen, I understand. I think changes are going to have to come in Philadelphia, as much as they don't want to do it. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.